Chelsea fans, we were really allowed to get our hopes up for just a second there, weren't we? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, that is talking about the move for Antoine Semenyo that burst into life and was instantly murdered within hours, and the continued audacity of Axel Disasi about picking and choosing what club he wants to go to. This guy needs to get back in his corner, man, and just literally, go to a club. But guys, before we properly get into it, if you're enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll talk about Antoine Semenyo. The internet was alight last night. Chelsea fans' hearts rose because it was like, oh, look, we're going to buy a player who's not 16 years old, has actual Premier League experience, and not only that, is one of the most desired attackers in the Premier League this season. Antoine Semenyo has made his stance relatively clear that he wants to leave in January for quite a long time now. He had a great season at Bournemouth last season. He's having a really good season this season. Really good attacker, and is drawing interest from all of the top clubs. There was some weird stuff like Manchester United initially credited with a massive interest in him, but that died down pretty quickly, I guess, for him when he found out that their preference was to play him as a wing-back. And that kind of makes sense from their point, but makes basically zero sense from Semenyo's point, right? Semenyo is one of the best attacking left wingers in the league. Manchester United play a back three system with wing-backs and two half kind of space number 10s behind the striker. He's not really a half space number 10, and he's not a wing back, is he? So that was probably never going to pan out. Liverpool have been credited with interest in him, especially since their injury to Alexander Isak. I imagine they could probably see Cody Gakpo playing a bit more of a striker role, and having Antoine Semenyo to come in on the left, that makes sense as well. But ultimately, it seems like his preference is to go to Man City. Of course it is. Man City are largely playing Doku and Savinho and Phil Foden, mixing it up with left wingers, but they're all left-footed. They're all left-footed players for the most part. So there is obviously a spot there in terms of balance and being able to cut in for a player like Antoine Semenyo to come into City's team and make them monsters who are probably going to win the title that I predicted at the start of this season anyway. So let's just go through the story as it broke and got all Chelsea fans' hearts aflutter, and then we'll have a little look at the news pertaining to Chelsea pulling out of the deal and Semenyo's proposed preference to Man City over any of the other clubs. So last night, David Ornstein broke the news. Chelsea make initial inquiry to Antoine Semenyo camp over conditions of January switch. CFC already intended to sign one attacker next summer, so a move for AFCB, the Bournemouth forward, would be accelerating plans among multiple contenders. So that was it. And at the end of the day, the reason that was interesting was, as Chelsea fans, we've essentially been told that we can't really expect anything massive to happen in the January window. But the one thing we can take away from this, even if it doesn't pan out, if the right deal becomes available, maybe we will go for something. Do you know what I mean? Something of a high quality. It was interesting because our left wing situation has been a little bit dire again this season, hasn't it? Alejandro Garnacho has been okay, but more recently been missing lots of chances. Jamie Gittins really looks like he's struggling to bed into the squad and the Premier League in general. So a move for Antoine Semenyo probably would have seen Jamie Gittins get a loan somewhere. It'd have been pretty crazy to sell him straight up. It might have created some sort of headache. But at the same time, it was just nice for us to be interested in a player that wasn't just a for the future player. Yes, he's young, he fits the model already or whatever, but ultimately Antoine Semenyo is a player for the here and now as much as he is for the future. So that, in particular for me, got me excited. But then, lo and behold, more news come out, and it was from Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, and there's a lot of tweets going on about it, and we're just going to go through some of them. Fabrizio Romano came out and said Chelsea have decided not to proceed with the Antoine Semenyo deal after making an inquiry earlier today. The club won't activate this option in January, and Semenyo is expected to join another Premier League club. So, all right, okay, cool. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, build me up and then knock me down straight away. But it was going to be a lot of money, and there were loads of other clubs in for him. So even if we were willing to offer the money and stuff, even if Bournemouth would have preferred our deal that we offered over anyone else's, at the end of the day, if Semenyo didn't want to come to Chelsea, then it wouldn't have mattered. And with Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal were talked about, but supposedly they kind of faded off a little bit as well. But, you know, with these other clubs in the mix, it was always going to be difficult. David Ornstein also released a tweet. Antoine Semenyo preferences to join Man City in January. Nothing formal until market opens, but AFC FC Bournemouth. Attacker favours Man City FC. Man United pushed hard and never planned to use the 25-year-old at wing-back, but when to switch was always tough. So if they didn't plan to use him as a wing-back for Manchester United, then they were planning to use him as a half-space number 10, which also isn't really his favourite position. He's a good left winger, do you know what I mean? So you can see also based on their recent form, league position, other players around him and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? It 100% wouldn't have been. I would have thought Chelsea would have been a slightly more attractive proposition, than Manchester United at that point. But we continue. Again from Fabrizio Romano, understand Manchester City have been pushing a lot in the last 12 hours to try and advance on Antoine Semenyo deal. Director Viana in direct talks with players camp as Man City FC want final answer as soon as possible. Man United still insisting, Liverpool monitoring, Chelsea are out. So as of this point, the news is all saying City wants Semenyo, Manchester United are still really interested, but he's probably not interested in them. Liverpool are paying attention to what's going on to the situation and may be willing to do a Caicedo style sneaky sniper bid, and it'd be interesting to see ultimately what does happen. The one interesting thing about this deal in particular is the reason that there's kind of a lot of pressure on it is Antoine Semenyo has a £65 million release clause that is only active from the 1st of January to the 10th of January. So what seems to be happening is they want to get this deal wrapped up before the window opens, essentially, because otherwise it could be a little bit of chaos. Another tweet from Fabrizio Romano, Manchester City is set to get all formal steps done for Antoine Semenyo in the next few days. Manchester United have also been informed by the players' camp about Antoine's decision tonight. So again, do you know what I mean? All signs seem to be pointing to Manchester City at the moment, which, although is a shame for Chelsea fans, there is also a benefit to Chelsea fans. If Antoine Semenyo can help City stop Arsenal from winning the league, that's something, isn't it? If we can't go out and buy any nice shiny players for ourselves and improve our squad in the way that we would like to in January, at least watching Man City get much stronger, you'd have to argue Semenyo would come in and do a really good job in their squad. And maybe that, gives City another slight edge over Arsenal in the title race. I really don't want to see Arsenal win the league, man. So if I am looking for any sort of copium I can to help me get through this news and this problem, then Man City taking the title away from Arsenal and Antoine Semenyo helping them do that is the next best thing other than him coming to Chelsea, as far as I can see. So that's basically it, man. Look, at the end of the day, it's not done. Things can change, but not only does Antoine Semenyo seem to prefer City in this thing, there is also news to say that Chelsea are out of the race. Do you know what I mean? There are multiple reports across the board saying Chelsea are not going to do it, and largely that's, yes, the money would have been not too bad, to be honest, for a player of his quality, but at the same time, he's probably indicated that he's just not interested. So instead of hanging around like a bad smell, like Man United are, then we're just going to say, no, do you know what? Then there's just no point in this. And the other key point about this is supposedly we were looking to bring a new attacker in the next window in the summer, and Antoine Semenyo would have been bringing that plan forward. So, we can still expect us to go for an attacker at some point in even now, maybe now if the right target appears, but I don't think there's any more attackers that we'd probably go in for right now, unfortunately, but if not, we'll still go in for a big signing in the summer, apparently. So that's Antoine Semenyo well and truly behind us. Let's just forget about it because nothing's going to change. He's going to go to City and hopefully help them win the league over Arsenal. But what we do need to talk about now is Axel Disasi. This guy, man, I swear, this guy is the sheer audacity of Axel Disasi to be as picky and choosy about the clubs that he is interested in. It just blows my absolute mind. He is just not that good. He's just not that good. I don't get it. The reason that he's not playing for Chelsea is because he's not that good. But he still seems to think, I can just sit there and pick and choose the clubs that I want. So we all know what happened at the end of the summer window, with Axel Disasi. He had offers from Bournemouth, Wolves and West Ham. We couldn't loan out any more players internationally because we've used all of our loan spots. No one internationally was coming in to buy him at the time. So the only options he had available to him were 3 Premier League clubs who were interested in taking him either on loan or looking for a deal or whatever. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to chill in the bomb squad instead. So like I say, I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for Axel Disasi's situation because ultimately it is one of his own making. And now we're here again. the news has all been about AC Milan recently with Axel Disasi, right? AC Milan in for Axel Disasi. They play 3 at the back. They're looking to reinforce their centre-back positions. Yeah, cool, 100% that makes sense. But there's been a twist in the tale, and Axel Disasi is now potentially going to wait it out to see if this can work for him. He's got offers on the table. AC Milan are interested. Supposedly, we'll get into the tweet in a minute. I think it's West Ham are interested as well. But all of a sudden, Barcelona need a centre-back. Andreas Christensen, former Chelsea player, former Chelsea Academy player Andreas Christensen, has picked up a really bad injury, and Barcelona are now scrabbling around to try and find a centre-back to get some cover for the rest of the season, right? Axel Disasi sees that and goes, yeah, that's the job for me. That's the only one I want out of all of these things that are available. I am going to wait for Barcelona. So maybe this is hyperbolic, but there was a title of this article, right? Chelsea have a player who is now determined to join Barcelona in January. That's all fine and good if they come in with a bid for you. Like, the thing is, I don't think we're going to hold out for money for the most. Look, if someone comes in with like 5 mil for Disasi, then no. But I think reasonably we can expect 10 to 15 mil for Axel Disasi. Will Barcelona come in with a 10 to 15 mil bid for Axel Disasi in January? Dunno, man. Dunno. Doesn't feel super likely, does it? Yeah, just an absolutely bizarre one, man. A really, really, really bizarre one. So Fabrizio Romano put out a tweet saying, Axel Disasi available for January window, but reports of a loan move are out of the mark as the French defender cannot leave on loan. So we know that already because all of our spots have been used. Chelsea already used all their extra UK spots for loans this season. AS Roma, Olympique Lyon and Paris FC all informed. So at the moment, the links, and there's more links as well. Actually, it's not just those ones. Axel Disasi's other options, this was in the same article that said he wants to wait for Barcelona. Earlier this month, it was reported that West Ham are interested in signing Disasi. I think that would be a good move for him. The Frenchman was also linked with a move to the Hammers in the summer, so the London Stadium could really be a potential destination for him. As well as West Ham, Borussia Dortmund are also thought to be keen on Disasi. They recently signed Antoine Semenyo from Chelsea on loan, and the Argentine is doing well there. Whether it be Dortmund, West Ham or Barcelona, Disasi has to join another club in the new year. The France international is a good defender who is just wasting away in West London. A transfer could keep his World Cup dream alive, though at this stage it would be a surprise if he went to the tournament next summer. So yeah, that's it. So Axel Disasi has potentially got West Ham and potentially Borussia Dortmund on the table, right? If any of those guys come in for you, just go. The thing is, so he's not going to get in the World Cup squad for France, is he? Let's be completely honest. Like, there's no way Axel Disasi is even going to make the bench for that, that France team in the World Cup. That's absolutely not going to happen. West Ham might not be his dream move. I understand that. They're really struggling at the moment, but he would get game time because they are struggling, so they need something else, and you would have thought just having another option there instantly for Nuno means that he would probably get game time because what they've got at the moment doesn't seem to be working. And maybe it's not your dream move, I get that, but ultimately, if you don't get the likes of a Borussia Dortmund or a Barcelona, if Axel Disasi goes to Barcelona, don't get me wrong, I'd just be happy to see him go, but that'd be mad. But if West Ham come in for you and are serious, take the job, bro, and at least for the rest of this season, put a clause in your contract saying that you can go for whatever at the end of the season if you play well, and hope someone else comes in for you because you've backed yourself to have a good 6 months. This is the thing, isn't it? It's all fine and good being like, I only want to go to Monaco in the summer, and now all of a sudden I only want to go to Barcelona. Yeah, but you haven't proven anything to anyone because you have elected to stay at a club that isn't going to play you. That's a decision that Axel Disasi made. He will have known. There will have been no, you might be able to get back in the squad. They were desperate to sell him. There was offers coming in from everywhere and he said no. And he will have known, much like Raheem Sterling does, that he wasn't in the plans for Chelsea this season. So Axel Disasi has essentially elected to stay on the bench. 6 months is one thing. The first half of the season is one thing. Not playing football for an entire year in your prime years when there's nothing wrong with you, you're not injured or anything, no one's going to want him. Do you know what I mean? He needs to get game time. So if West Ham is the only team that comes in for you, go and play, because there's no way you're going to get into the Chelsea team. We'd probably bring back Antoine Semenyo before we put Axel Disasi back into the squad. Do you know what I mean? I just don't get the audacity from the guy, man. Look, I don't dislike him. Like I said, I've mentioned this before. I think he's funny. I think he's a good character. And I think he can bring something to a team, but he's not the right player for the kind of system and formation and whatever it is that Enzo Maresca is looking for in his team at the moment. Axel Disasi is not that. and there's teams out there that would be interested in you, we're already going to make a loss. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea are already losing. Just by selling Axel Disasi is a negative. It's a minus for Chelsea on the books because we're not going to make back his book value at the end of the day. So go and play football somewhere, at least for 6 months, at least for the second half of the season, and then see what happens. Maybe you can get that move to Dortmund or back to Monaco if you play well. Do you know what I mean? Go out there and show people that you're a footballer worth signing. Because at the end of the day, like at the moment, you're not, because you're not playing. Oh, man. Absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. But yeah, that's basically it for today's news. The Antoine Semenyo stuff, like I say, it was, you know, we were allowed to dream for a second, weren't we? We were allowed to dream for a second, and then it was instantly dashed. But at the end of the day, at least that happened quickly. The worst thing that could have happened is, like I say, like Man U, we hang around like a bad smell, being like, oh, we promise we're not going to play you at left wing back, or do you know what I mean? It would have just looked worse for us if we'd have hung around looking like we were really interested, when ultimately all he ever wanted to do was go to City. So even though I'm disappointed that we're not going to even go in for him, at the end of the day, I also get it, and I would rather not waste time on going in for Antoine Semenyo if it was never going to happen. Hopefully, what this shows, at the very, very least, like I say, as a Chelsea fan, what I can take away from this is potentially, if the right deal is available in January for a good player, then we might go in for it. We need a midfielder. We potentially need to sort our striker situation out because, I mean, so this is another thing as well. Liam Delap back in training now, which is really, really good because we were told 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think he's going to be fit for the Aston Villa game, but maybe we're not going to be without Liam Delap as long as we thought we were. So maybe that midfield spot or getting another defender in, whether it be Aaron Anselmino, I don't know. But if the right deal appears for a player that is a good player, not just here's an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old who might develop and you can sell for 18.7 mil in the next 2 years, then maybe we will go for someone, hopefully. The Axel Disasi thing, mate, man just needs to go and play football. Man just needs to go and play football. All right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping it up there. So I'm obviously not going to be releasing a video tomorrow because it's Christmas Day, but I should be back on Boxing Day. And I hope everyone watching this, whatever you're doing, if you're celebrating or not, wherever you're watching from, I hope you have an excellent winter solstice, Christmas, whatever you're celebrating at this moment in time. Really, really enjoy yourselves. Eat, drink, be merry, and we'll all get back to the football very, very soon. Nice one, guys. I hope you have an absolutely wicked day, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Merry Christmas. Peace.